everybody. Everybody will love you. But I've come to realize that's not always the case. I used to believe that if you pray hard enough, every illness will be removed. I used to, even at my young age, remember standing at a casket and thinking, well, God raised Lazarus. Maybe He can raise this person. But illnesses remain. Grief is a reality. Problems persist. But I've come to realize, despite all of it, Christ reigns supreme. God remains God. And you know, I'm okay with that. Doesn't mean that I'm happy all the time. There are moments where I feel sad. But the joy is from the Lord. And He is my rock and my stronghold, my sure foundation. So let the crowds laugh, but they will not prevent Jesus from entering my heart. They will not prevent me from receiving what Christ has prepared for me. The laughter of the world will not prevent God's work in my life. And yes, I've come to believe that my ways are not His ways and my plans are not His plans, but I'm okay with that. And so there will be voices around me that says, you're not going to survive this, or you're not going to heal from this, or there is no hope. But Jesus looks at me and says, I'm all you got, and I'm all that you need. And we have to choose to believe this. That when everything is said and done, the Lord of all creation loves you and me so much, we have to be okay with that. Because at the end of the day, it's what really matters. And if we all see Christ as the one who reigns supreme, regardless of how dire our circumstances may be or how much trouble we may be going through, we can overcome anything. And so let the voices tell us, your life will never change. You are going to be a failure. You're going to be an embarrassment. Let the voices say that the church is weak, that faith is fading today, that holiness is impossible. So why go to church? But Christ says, you are holy because I am holy. So the gospel invites us to place greater confidence in the voice of Jesus than in the voice of the world. And that brings us to the table, to the Holy Eucharist. Every Sunday we gather around what appears to the world to be a very small and tiny thing. Some bread and wine that were bought from a local Christian store. And we do some abracadabra and convince the people that something's happening here. But there is something happening. But the world may not see it. What they see is just ordinary elements. But faith sees the extraordinary. Faith sees the real presence of Christ, His body, His blood, given to us for healing and for hope of a better tomorrow. So every time we receive the Eucharist, we proclaim a mystery that the world considers foolish. They laugh at it. They look at this and they say The crucified and risen Lord is not here. This is man-made. But what they don't get is that his death conquered death. His resurrection guarantees our own. And so we are people of hope who come before the altar and receive the body and blood, knowing full well what the world thinks and how they may laugh. And yet we come with open hands. Lord, give me. Give me you, because you are enough. And at this altar, the Good Shepherd feeds his sheep. He strengthens those whose hope is fading. He reminds us that death does not have the final word. He tells the naysayers to get out. He rebukes them. And then he calls those who choose to have faith in him to gather around the heavenly banquet with their tears, with their mourning, with their sickness, with their broken hearts. And he assures them, I am with you until the end of the world. So the story is not over, but the people will continue to laugh. But just remember, Jesus is the one writing your story, not them. There may be some area in your life where hope has grown faint. Maybe disappointment has persuaded you that nothing's going to change. You're longing to overcome a hurdle in your life, and yet you keep running up against a wall. And in your heart, in your mind, you're beginning to hear the laughter of other people. And then you become your own worst critic, your own worst enemy. And these voices become louder than the voice of God. But this morning, the Lord is inviting you to hear his voice again. The same Christ who took that little girl by the hand still comes to you and me and wants to hold our hand. The same Christ who conquered the grave still conquers the demons that seek to destroy us. The same Christ who meets us at this altar still meets those who feel hopeless in the world and reminds them to trust in God's unfailing promises. Therefore, let us trust the God who raised the dead. Trust that he is able to do far more than we can think or ask or imagine. For when the world laughs at hope, the church remembers an empty tomb. When the world laughs at hope, we choose to stand strong and proclaim the joy of the resurrection. So let them laugh. We will move forward in hope. To God be the glory, now and forever.